Good afternoon. This is William Hemphill, pastoral therapist. Want to come to you with a subject that I've been thinking about for most of the day. Serious subject. And that's dealing with the clergy abuse that went on in Philadelphia. You may have seen the numbers where over 300 plus clergy abused over 1,000 plus parishioners and children over a span of years, decades. I'm not sure of the time frame, but in any case, it's horrible and brutal. It ought to not be so. The church should be a safe haven for people who are hurting and needed help and in need of feeling and experiencing the grace of God. Unfortunately, we've turned it into a place where a lot of people are abused, hurt, mistreated, and traumatized. And that bothers me very deeply. I'd like to speak to three groups of people briefly concerning this matter. The first is clergy. I am a clergy person. I am a pastor. I am a chaplain. I am a pastoral therapist. And so I speak for all of us when I say this. If life gets to the point where you're having difficulty managing it, where the affairs of the church and the affairs of family and affairs of different things are wearing you down mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, please get some help. Some of these behaviors are due to the fact that clergy people aren't taking care of their mental health. That's one reason why I'm here as a pastoral therapist, to help clergy walk through some of the difficulties of life. Recognize, clergy, that we are human beings and we are not perfect. Anybody who's not clergy, recognize that we are not perfect. We are human beings with the same flaws as everybody else. Thus, we need help. Please get the help before you start hurting your parishioners. Let us get whatever help we need before we start hurting and harming our parishioners and harming their faith. Number two, to parents. I am a parent. I would say this: please be present at your children's activities as much as possible. This is important because those who want to prey on our children oftentimes look for the child or the teenager who's isolated, who's alone, who feels unloved. And then they begin the process of going in and grooming them so they can take advantage of them. Parents, be present and love our children. I'd say this even especially as a father. Please be present at your children's activities. You want the coach, you want the counselor, you want the pastor, you want the clergy person, you want the Boy Scout, the Girl Scout leader. You want whoever it is who's leading your children's activities to see your presence. Because our presence as parents helps to protect our children. I emphasize fathers because I am a father. I happen to be a large man. I'm 6'6", 250 plus pounds. And so when I walk into the building and they know that I am my children's father, people think twice before trying to mess with my children. And I said it about me, but that's about you also. Be present with your children. 3, to those who have been abused and traumatized, sexually, mentally, physically, emotionally, my heart goes out to you. Please get the help you need to walk through the trauma, to walk through the pain, to walk through the hurt, to walk through the stuff that you've hidden in your heart so that you can continue to grow toward wholeness. Please get what you need. Special shout out of thanks to the young man who I heard interviewed this morning who did go through that process. and was able to walk toward wholeness with the help of his therapist and with the help and support of his wife. We do need a supporting community. Please find those who can support you. And because of that, he was able to be strong enough to testify against those who tried to abuse him. As a church, we got to do better. We're supposed to be instruments of God's grace and not instruments of hurt and pain. I pray as a church that we are accountable and we take the steps necessarily to protect our parishioners. I worry if we don't, that the government will begin to take the necessary steps to do what's necessary to protect our people. So let us be instruments of grace and instruments of love in a world that needs love and grace, that already experiences enough trauma. Let us not be instruments of trauma, but instruments of healing and wholeness. Thank you, everybody. Love your children. If you want to talk more, my number is 678-684-0397. My website's williamhemphill.com, WILLIAMHEMPHILL.com. I'm available to talk. Take care. God bless. Love our families. Love our children. Bye-bye.